man. What are we talking about?
Right and wrong.
Come on, man. What are we talking about?
Right and wrong.
Corn Pop was a bad dude.
Whoa.
Corn Pop was a bad dude.
Whoa.
Come on, man. What are we talking about?
Right and wrong.
Come on, man. What are we talking about?
Right and wrong.
Ooh, welcome to Right and Wrong. This is the show where we try to wake up the woke by talking common sense about the issues of the day. I'm your host, Brian Ruka, and with me, as always, over there is my man and yours, producer Juice. He's known out there on the World Wide Web as the Truth Box because he spits truth all day, every day, east of the Mississippi, south of the Mason-Dixon, and that's his home base, ladies and gentlemen. Truth Box, what do you get to say to all the people out there in the right and wrong audience today, my man?
Hey, what's up, audience? Now, real quick, not a juice clip today. Speaking from the heart, something serious. And, love doing the funny bits and speaking through the clips, but got to bring something to the attention, especially people in Massachusetts. This gun control bill, HD 4420, is bad news for everybody involved. One, definitely look into it, regardless if you're pro-gun or not. It's not ideal in general for liberty. Couple of things. One, it redefines a firearm to even include, stun guns. Mandates safe storage procedures, even if, I would lock guns up because I have children in the home. Great thing to do. But no, even if, regardless, you have to lock your guns up because the state tells you to. Registration of all guns and magazines, register your magazine. And you change out a gun on a barrel on a gun, put a threaded barrel or a different colored barrel into your Glock. Okay, you got to register that now too. It's crazy. Also bans anyone 21. You have to be 21 or over to even carry a long gun now, shotguns included, etc. Just wanted to say a bit about this instead of doing a clip. And as a wise man once told me, these are scary times for gun owners, sure, but also for liberty in general. Each day getting closer and closer to their end goal of totalitarian rule. And that's what I got to say, Brian. Back to you.
Wow. I know I say straight fire almost every week from those referring to a clip, but man, the juice box coming deep for us today. Speaking of the
stumbled over some of it, but the fact remains, I'm not the on-air personality, but HD 4420 is just, bad news for the Second Amendment and bad news in general, right? All those things that I was saying.
Massachusetts.
You think the person who's committing the crimes and things like, yeah, they're not registering their magazine or their stun gun, but you better lock yours up. And there was another part, like saying if you make a modification on a firearm, like, does that mean like if you put a red dot or different sights on it, you have to go and tell the state?
That's incredible. It's insane. And to your point, like too, with saying that, like, the criminals aren't out there registering their guns anyways. And it's like all these states that have
taking the guns out of the law-abiding citizens' hands.
Absolutely. Yeah. If somebody's going to go shoot up a Walmart, I want the juice box in there strapped, being able to help defend ourselves instead of having to wait there like sitting ducks. It's crazy. But great stuff, great information, and definitely something to look out for here in my home state of Massachusetts. So thank you for that, Mr. Juice Box. Keep up the great work. So on today's show, we will be talking about the affirmative action case, the website design case, and the student loan forgiveness case, all in our Supreme Court segment of the episode today. We will also be talking about Hunter Biden and his corruption and how it relates to the big guy Joe Biden. And we'll also come in with a nice fired up lightning round. And then we have a come on, man segment of the day designed for all you dog lovers out there. You're not going to want to miss that. So I guess without further ado, let's welcome in our good friend, Mr. Ric Flair, because it is showtime, baby. Woo!
Showtime! Woo!
Gotta love those. Thank you, Mr. Flair. Well, short and sweet today. I don't have a ton prepared for this part of it. It's basically just wanted to let everybody know who has followed us from the start here. You guys know that I'm a sports fan at heart. Started off that way, always have been, always will be. I hope maybe not anymore because sports are getting super woke and it's hard to follow them. But anyways, I always thought I would be talking, doing stuff like this in relation to sports. So even with politics and the cultural stuff that we talk about, the religion that we talk about, I always kind of come at it with that mindset of the way I would consume sports. So right now, I think what's happening is very similar to what you're seeing in the world of Major League Baseball, NBA, hockey, football, all that stuff. They get covered by journalists who are no longer objective journalists. They get covered by sports fans. They get covered by people that just want to be cool with the guys that they're covering. They look up to these athletes and cover them with that lens in mind. And the same exact thing happens with our politics these days. And everybody that's in the, White House press room, aside from my man, Zach Morris, Peter Doocy, they are just so happy that they work as a journalist that gets to cover the White House. And they're willing to kiss up, play the game, be buddies with Juice's favorite press secretary of all time, KJP, just so she'll call on them for a question. And it's removed all their ability to be critical of the regime. It happened in the opposite way when it was Trump in place there. They all wanted to be combative with him, go at him because A, they don't like him because of his policies, and then B, that gave them their, screen time that they desire. Think of Jim Acostas. That's where he was coming from with that. So it is ruining sports. It's definitely making me less of a sports fan because, I grew up in a place here in Boston where that would be a question for a player for the Red Sox. Can he handle the big, bad Boston media? And what they ended up doing instead was pretty much bribing the big, bad Boston media by treating them, very well, treating them like borderline employees. The owner of the Red Sox bought one of the newspapers here, the Boston Globe. So he literally owns the newspaper that covers his own team. But, you'd hear stories back in the day about them clashing with players. And then in the 2000s there, it was they got great catered meals for the media and they started embracing them. And then a sports, anchor, someone who needs to cover the team, travel with the team, they make relationships with those players and then they can get a story out of it. So they're not going to go and then rip that player who just gave them a story. And again, it's the same thing that's happening with the political scene too. And I'm sure it's happened throughout history. It might not be a unique take from me tonight. I'm just telling you from, just a regular guy who never used to really cover politics or be all that interested in it. I see the same parallels going on. And it all boils down to integrity, what you hold for yourself, what kind of morality you have, and, are you willing to sell your opinion for, fame, money, or, just a seat at the table. And I think too many of these people are doing it these days. And it seeps into the entire culture. That's it.
The Right and Wrong Show is produced by Juice. Executive producer, Juice. Audio mixer is Juice. Hair by Skull Shavers.
That's not a wrap yet. Come on, Juice. Why are you playing the end stuff? We're just getting started here, baby. We're gonna be like Lionel Richie playing this game all night long.
Kind of an accident. Maybe we'll take care of it later.
Yeah, just like we took care of all those F-bombs from Carlson a couple of weeks ago.
I'm convinced that's why the second episode, it wasn't that anything to do with us. I thought it was hilarious with the short, tall, the tall, large bit.
Oh yeah, that was
but
good stuff.
less views. I think it's the F-bombs.
Uh-oh. Come on, people. Well, and we threw it up right before the holiday too. You know, where we, you know, to you fans out there, I know we've been inconsistent with our recording sessions and timing, but it's the summer months. We're still trying to get used to this video type of thing. And
the algorithms are different over here.
They are different. So, all right, let's jump into things. First thing we want to talk about is how great the past couple rulings from the Supreme Court have been. I know we're a couple of weeks old at this point, but it's been a topic we've wanted to get to. And again, like I said, the summer schedule, holiday just happened, so we're getting to it now. And this, my friends, is the lasting legacy of Donald J. Trump. He got 3 Supreme Court justices nominated. Just think about where we would be right now if Juice's girl, Hillary, got in there and ended up getting to appoint those judges herself.
And this,
it'd be crazy.
What you're going to discuss doesn't include Dobbs.
That is true. That's true. I mean, that one in and of itself is worth Trump's 4 years. He ran away. I thought he was going to say yes. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, that's worth it. Okay, back to you.
Okay. Oh, man, I love doing it this way so much better than our old way. This is great. Hopefully you guys are enjoying it too. But anyways, the first case that got overturned was the affirmative action decision. And it was, the students, and thankfully there were Asian students involved, because I'm convinced if it was only white kids that were behind this lawsuit, it wouldn't have got overturned. But it was ruled that Harvard and University of North Carolina were discriminating against white and Asian students because they were taking, people of African-American descent, Spanish descent, Native American descent, and whatever Elizabeth Warren thinks she is, descents in
and Latinx.
Latinx. Thank you. Yes. Lots of Latinx. They were getting special privilege and obviously granted access to the schools ahead of students that were Asian or white that might have had better grades, better test scores, or whatever. We've grown up. I'm 38, and Juice just turned 39 this past week. Happy birthday, pal.
Thanks. Don't say specifics.
Yep.
I don't need
Oh yeah, that's the age. Oh, that's the
no,
age, baby.
No, not about that. Don't tell them my exact birthday.
Oh, okay. Just recently. I thought he was trying to hide it, like trying to be like a 20-year-old.
No, I'm 30 then.
Okay. All right, cool. But we've grown up in a world. Stick around. Hang out with me. Come on back. We grew up in a world where that's all we've known is affirmative action. You guys know, I mean, hopefully you know that I told you about being the president of my union when I had that job with the city of Boston. And right at the beginning of the contract that we had, in bold lettering, it's the union and the city agrees already. It was like non-negotiable. Thanks, Juice. But it was right there in bold that we both agree to hire based on affirmative action practices. And I know this case here has to do with school admissions, but we grew up in a world that was just how it is. It's just the world we live in. And we've all known it's been absurd. We've all known that it's a racist practice. And I'm sorry, just because there was slavery in this country, 2 wrongs don't make a right. You don't discriminate against people nowadays based on the color of their skin in order to make up some injustice that was done to people's great grandfathers and grandmothers who has nothing to do with us today in 2023. And the thing that really frustrated me a lot with like the way the left wants to use affirmative action is they have no end game in sight with it either. There's no like, okay, once we get to X, Y, or Z, then we'll treat everybody equally according to their ability. There was no end in sight to it. It was just, this is what it's going to be, and it's going to be like this forever. And that's just not right. You guys all know this. I've often spoke again. I think I've shared it here on the show, but someone who I don't want to out specifically that that I know just on the left side of things once told me that my son, whose 4 other friends all had some sort of different, race, half white, half, Puerto Rican, Black and Asian, this, that, and the other thing. Everybody else was mixed race, except for my son. And I said to this person, we all grew up in the same spot. We're all going to Boston Public Schools. We all live in the same neighborhood here. All of us parents all have similar, jobs and stuff. When they all go to apply for colleges, should they get in before my son? And this person looked at me dead in the face and said, yes. Couldn't believe it. It still boggles my mind. So now that we have a ruling like this, that's no longer going to happen. They're going to be in based on their ability. I do know, Juice, you know about this, right? The left is already angling to try to be like, okay, well, we'll just, you can write in your essay to explain the hardships in your life.
Harvard, immediately after the ruling, here's how we'll skirt this ruling. Yeah. Put in your essay,
Black. I'm black.
Yeah.
Basically.
Latinx.
Yeah. Latinx. Wait, is it Latinx or is it Latinx? I don't even know what the appropriate one is.
Pull in AOC.
She could probably tell us. I did want to mention too that there was big dissent or the stuff that came out from the ruling that everybody focused on was Clarence Thomas writing in favor of overthrowing affirmative action and Judge Jackson. I'm sorry, Judge Jackson. Woo! Remember that one?
I am for real.
Yeah. She wrote a dissenting opinion. Dissent. Did I get that right?
Dissenting? I don't know.
Kind of.
Descending. Condescending to people of color and not.
That is great. That's why he's on the show, people. Whew, the brains of the operation. But it was incredible because Clarence Thomas grew up in the segregated South before civil rights movement, and he succeeded in spite of the obstacles in his way. And Judge Jackson was born in the 70s after the civil rights movement and succeeded because of unconstitutional laws designed to provide her Black privilege. And you can see the difference just by the way they view this. And it's really sad. It's a joke, but she thinks she's self-righteous in the right with this. Juice, what do you think of all this stuff? You got anything else about the affirmative action?
No, I hope it spreads from the institutions to everything else.
That's what I'm hoping.
The scariest part that I see with the diversity, equity, inclusion, this, that, the other, when you start doing things that are putting other people's lives at risk, we're going to hire a lot more female and Black pilots, regardless if they're the best person to fly the plane, but we're going to hire that, when it, especially if it has something to do with other people's lives at stake, something or other, get the best person for the job.
Thank you.
Black, white, brown, green, non-binary.
Doesn't matter. Anything.
The best doctor, pilot, etc.
Even if I'd even take Dylan Mulvaney flying that plane if he was the best pilot to do it. Love you.
Yeah. Thank you guys for flying non-binary airlines. Love you.
That'd be great. All right. So the other one that we want to get to is the web designer in Colorado. Now, the left had a connipshit over this one because apparently there wasn't even like an actual case yet. Like that's what they're trying to get away with, like a technicality, saying it shouldn't have been heard because no one tried to actually get this web designer to design a website specifically for a gay wedding. The web designer was kind of proactive with it, and it led, all the way up to the Supreme Court. Where at the end of the day, I don't really care. Like on that, what I care about is the ruling that came out, and what the court decided was that it's not discriminating against a gay person if you refuse to provide the message that they're making you say and provide, which is something that you should all stop and pump the brakes. Now, I get it that a lot of people out there know someone who's gay. They have a friend who's gay, a relative who's gay. We've grown up again in a culture that is post-sexual revolution. And, throughout the 90s and the 2000s, it's been, a rainbow America. We all know that. Now it's going too far and it's getting out of hand, and we're finally seeing the brakes pumped. But you can't expect somebody to not only accept you, but affirm you. And that's what we're falling into with like the trans stuff too. It's like, you don't have to hate on somebody for being gay. You don't have to hate on someone who's trans, but I don't have to go around and condone it and celebrate and tell you I'm all for it. That's going too far. And the thing with this case that I don't think enough people realize is they're trying to, make it sound like it's the same thing as discriminating against somebody for the color of their skin, for race. They're using it, that there's a civil rights protection for your sexual orientation or identity, which is just absurd. There shouldn't be, but there is. Now, if you look at someone across the room who's black, you know that person's black. They can't do anything about it. They were born with black skin, like brown skin. That's just a fact. You can't look across the room and just know that somebody enjoys having sex with a man or enjoys having sex with a female. See, that's the thing. You can in a way, but that's because they're presenting themselves in a specific way. It's not just.
So you're trying to say overall, like, okay, so if somebody is black, you can't refuse the service, but like, say if it's a gay person and you're selling sandwiches, you can't refuse the service that way. But if it's a gay person who's saying to make me a gay website with gay stuff, then you can refuse it because it goes against what you're creating.
Of course, absolutely.
Seemed like you needed a little help. I don't know if that's what it is and that's the decision, but I'm trying to help you.
No, that's exactly what the decision is. It's like they're not saying no to them because they're gay. They're saying no because of what the gay person's asking them to say and to do and to endorse. So that's a lot different than just saying, oh, you're gay, I'm not going to service you. You're black, get out of my store, I'm not going to service you. No, but if you come in and you happen to be black and you ask me to make you a SWAT sticker, like I could say, no, I'm not going to make that. Right. Like if you happen to be gay and you come in to my store and say,
what if it's a black gay person going to get a SWAT sticker sandwich?
Then I think like we've hit the apocalypse, I guess. I don't know. That might be it.
What else did the Supreme Court do the other week?
So the other one that they did was they shot down the student loan forgiveness. That is a complete joke. It was thrown out by the Biden campaign, and he was acting like basically bribing people. Like, we'll wave a magic wand to forgive your student loan debt if you vote for us, right? And he even said, like, I don't think I'll be able to do this. Nancy Pelosi said before it happened that they didn't have the power. The president doesn't have the power to do this. And the Supreme Court actually quoted her when they made their ruling on this. It's an act that would need to be done by Congress. And Biden threw it out there, made the ruling. Basically, that's the way he tries to operate. He tried the same thing with the OSHA, trying to mandate COVID vaccine stuff. He just threw it against the wall, hoping it would stick, knowing that it's unconstitutional, it's going to get shut down, but that it's going to take a while to get through the court system. And he had this out there, the student loan forgiveness stuff, in time for everybody to go vote for him, when he knew deep down that this was going to be laughed at, basically. And that's what happened.
Not a joke.
This one was a joke, and he should have known that. So this one, to me, out of the three, I think it's the least interesting, at least from my point of view, because I just think it's so cut and dry. It's pretty self-explanatory. Like, I don't think you needed this one to go to the Supreme Court. I'm glad it did, and we got it settled. But this one seemed pretty obvious. The other ones, there's at least a little bit of like conversation you could have with it, a little bit of debate. Even me here trying to explain the website designer one had the juice box asking questions, which is great. Like, we should be able to kind of talk through some of that stuff, because it's not just.
What if it was a web designer making a website for SWAT sticker sandwiches? Now what do you do?
I don't know, man.
But my thought on the thing that kills me about the student loan forgiveness one is that the people who were like, well, what about the PPP loans from, the COVID to the businesses? Well, like, one, they're completely different things, because the same people who are asking for the student loan forgiveness benefited from the PPP loans if they're doing, hey, you can't open your business, you can't do whatever, but you can take out, we'll give you this money in order to pay the people who we're saying can't go to work. I don't know how that's comparable to student loan forgiveness to the individual.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's like those things, like you said, they're put in place because the government was literally saying, you cannot open your doors, business. We'll give you this loan so that you don't have to lay off your workforce, so you can still keep writing checks to your employees while we make them stay home. Nobody,
and they could have turned around and took some of those checks to pay for the loans that they took out.
Exactly.
Coming from somebody who has student loans. Yeah.
But instead, what we all do, we all got, like, I got a Peloton with that COVID money. You probably got like a Tower of Terror like uniform.
Yeah. Or like a shotgun or something.
But whatever. Like, nobody like that was the time that, like, people, that were probably smart would have been investing that money into something. Or, if you really did get laid off, lose your job, using that to sustain your life. But
those are the things, though. I'm saying those are the stimulus, which is different than the PPP.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
But either way, like, the PPP was like a business, like, to the business.
Yeah, that went to the business,
so they could continue payroll. Yeah,
exactly.
And like the stimulus thing didn't work because it's like, dude, we can't go anywhere and spend this money. How are you going to stimulate the economy when people are just gonna
stimulate Amazon and Bezos?
Yeah.
Crazy.
All right.
Crazy. All right, what do you think?
I
would love to go over to a lightning round.
I hate this, like in work and stuff. People call it a bio break. Meaning like you got
break.
Take a leak, they're saying.
What? I don't get it.
Like biological, you got to take a pee. So bio break.
Like the biological sex that you are? Like, who goes pee where? Is that where you're going?
Yeah.
Which place do you go pee?
Are all gendered.
Okay. All right. No, I get what you're saying, I think.
No, like a bio break. Like, I have to
biohazard. Like, gotta go drop a deuce.
Hazardous materials, yeah. All right.
All right. Let's
see you guys on the other side.
Yep. All right. Sounds good.
See ya.
Bye.
Wait, I thought you were going for
a
bio break.
A bio break. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, we're gonna go. Right. So there is an update on this whole bio break situation. Juice, you want to let them know?
Yeah, got excited about the bio break. I guess nomenclature, is that the word?
That one's over my head, pal.
Okay. Is that what happened? Like you're all buzzed down?
Yeah. Yeah, they're flying.
I jumped the gun on the bio break situation. There's one more topic to hit real quick. Hunter Biden.
Yes,
Hunter
Mr.
Biden
Hunter.
thing.
Absolutely.
And the touchy Joe. We got a big thing here all about the whole Biden laptop. So what do you want to get into? Reference a page if you need me to pull anything up. I'll get you on that. Which, this was fake news. I mean, disinformation.
Oh, yes. Yeah. No, I mean, that whole thing, like when we upload this episode onto YouTube, it's going to look like you're holding just like nothing, like a blank. It's just going to be blacked out. YouTube's going to censor that. So the Hunter thing that we do want to get to, though, obviously we know about the cocaine that was found. That's not it. But we do want to talk about this situation with the WhatsApp message that came out. And that whole thing, you guys know about this one. Hunter shaking down a Chinese diplomat. And the message coming out just a couple weeks ago now. And I'm going to quote exactly what was written. And this is what this knucklehead sent in. Again, I barely know what WhatsApp is, but essentially, I believe it works like a text message. Am I right about that, Juice?
Yeah, same thing. I know a lot of people use it also to like communicate to, like, say if your cell phone plan doesn't communicate to China.
Okay.
You can use this where, it doesn't have to be like an actual text. You both.
That's how the Bidens are millionaires. They don't pay for that extra cell service to China. They just use the WhatsApp thing to get around it.
Yeah, WhatsApp. Yeah.
Okay. So Hunter wrote this quote, "I am sitting here with my father, and we would like to understand why the commitment made has not been fulfilled. Tell the director that I would like to resolve this now before it gets out of hand, and now means tonight. And Z, if I get a call or text from anyone involved in this other than you, Zhang, or the chairman, or Short Long," I added that part, "I will make certain, small tall, I will make certain that between the man sitting next to me, presumably Joe, and every person he knows, and my ability to forever hold a grudge, that you will regret not following my direction."
Why does it sound like... Oh, sorry. You weren't done with WhatsApp.
No, it's great. Wait, the last line.
Does it sound like Trump? Okay, go.
Sorry, I can't help it. And the last line of the WhatsApp thing is, "I am sitting here waiting for the call with my father." End quote. Sorry, I didn't mean to fall into a Trump thing.
I was just gonna. I'm sitting here with small talk. Like,
my ability to forever hold a grudge, the biggest grudge of all time. It will be
beautiful grudge,
a big, beautiful grudge.
I know this WhatsApp probably better than you do. Remember that at McDonald's?
Yeah, exactly.
I know this menu better than you do. That guy's like, "Mr. Trump, I've been going down here cooking egg McMuffins all day." He's like, and that's what he's like, man of the people, though, right? That
he is a man of the people. He heard just at Dairy Queen the other day, he got everybody around to Blizzards, even though he tried to pretend he didn't know what those were.
Dude, I go to get those sometimes. Dude, I go to get those sometimes. You've been there?
Oh, yeah, they're awesome.
Dude, they do this with you, and they turn it upside down.
To show you that it's like not souped
Let me
up.
make sure I can. Mm-hmm.
Nice, I love it.
Like they like go like, "Here's your Blizzard," and then they go, "Oh."
But they do that just to show it off, right? Like, "Oh yeah, look at us."
And I always go to like get it, dude. And they're gonna drop it one of these days.
They really are.
$6.99 now. It's Bidenomics.
Biden's American. Bidenomics.
He's been saying that. Bidenomics is getting a job where you currently live and being able to, like, he's saying these things that aren't things.
No,
like,
not at all. Bidenomics is paying $6.99 for your Blizzard that used to cost $4.
Yeah, building from the middle down and the outside in.
Yeah.
Right? Don't they love that? From the bottom up and the
Yeah, they
Oh,
hate
and-
trickle down economics. They love to
Mhm.
jump on that. But sidetracking us here now with the stuff. Sorry, we're just, just a couple guys doing our thing here. But Juice, don't you have a clip of what's the guy from Florida? Matt
Gaetz.
is it Gertz? Gertz?
Gaetz.
I'm just kidding. I just it always
Yeah,
throws me off. I know it's Matt Gaetz. But he was grilling the FBI director, Christopher Wray, just the other day, all about this message, this WhatsApp message. So you want to pull him in and see how that went, Juice?
I'm sitting here with my father. I will make certain that between the man sitting next to me and every person he knows and my ability to forever hold a grudge, that you will regret not following my direction. I am sitting here waiting for the call with my father. Sounds like a shakedown, doesn't it, Director?
I'm not going to get into commenting on that.
You seem deeply uncurious about it, don't you? Almost suspiciously uncurious. Are you protecting the Bidens?
Absolutely not. The FBI
Well, you
does
won't
not
answer the
and has
question.
no
Hold on.
interest in
You won't answer the
protecting
question
anyone
about whether or not
politically.
that's a shakedown, and everybody knows why you won't answer it. Because to the millions of people who will see this, they know it is. And your inability to acknowledge that is deeply revealing about you.
Yeah, absolutely. It's deeply revealing. Call a spade, right?
His stage presence is through the roof.
Oh, he didn't
Like,
laugh
this is
into a Trump.
Yeah.
No,
Like
he
whenever he
delivered
said, like,
better than
after
me.
he said it and he said sitting here with my father, he's like, is this not whatever he said?
Yeah.
It's not crazy.
Oh,
And that
no, he
hair,
definitely,
that political hair.
dude, he's got that hair just like your boy Romney and Kerry, right?
Yeah, I mean, they're the same guy.
It's awesome. You know who else has hair like that should get into a political campaign at some point instead of just commenting on it? Your favorite podcaster these days, Michael
Mr.
Knowles.
Michael Knowles, yeah.
Political hair all day from that man. No, I mean Gates nailed it there. It's great. Like how hard is it for that guy to just be like, yeah, that's something we should look into? Like, and that ends it. It makes it look worse by him trying to duck and dodge from it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like he's like, I'm not going to comment from this podium. That's classic Karen Jean pair. Like, I'm not going to answer that. Like, I mean, you kind of have to answer that in some way.
I mean,
other than say, I'm not going to answer that, and then say, oh, so it seems like you're protecting them. Well, I'm not protecting them, but I'm not going to answer.
But I kind of am because I'm not looking into it. So it's crazy. And then I guess right before we jumped on to broadcast today too, they said like the Secret Service or the FBI is no longer going to investigate the cocaine thing.
Yeah,
like
they couldn't find it.
Whoever could it be? Like, come on. Like, I know it's funny to like kind of joke about, but again, it's also the reason it's funny is because it's kind of true. Like,
I didn't pull up that clip, but remember I was showing you him like tweaking on the on the balcony during the July 4th.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, obviously, like the guy is a admitted drug addict. Like, is what it is. But
well, like, what if they did catch, if that was deemed to be his, like, if that would have ever gone out, wouldn't that have, like, would he have had to gone to jail? Because remember the plea bargain.
Yeah.
Because he was like, oh, I'm going to go to a drug class because I have these weapons charges and evasion, tax fraud, or whatever.
Yeah, it's going to be in violation of what he just agreed to. Like, crazy.
Yeah.
But I mean, again, this is one of those topics where, like, I don't know if you have more to like throw it in, like here, go for it. But it's almost one of those where, like, I feel like I can't even say much more because it's just so blatantly obvious in they're so corrupt, like, in the fact that we keep letting them get away with it, or the American public isn't more outraged about it. It's kind of, aggravating, but I guess that's what we're supposed to be doing here, is turning people onto it. But it's just like, guys, it's right in front of your face here. You really need us to spell this out for you?
Now, bio breaks aside, Want to hit that lightning round? No
I
bumper,
would
just
love.
jump right into it.
I'd love to hit that lightning round. Let's go. Let's do
All
it.
right, first clip up. None better. Kamala Harris.
Love it.
Recently, you know how to set this one up? What was she at? Like a
Yeah, she was doing like some sort of conference. I think some all great women empowerment conference. Like I don't even know what it was to be honest
life
with you. But
coach, like a life coach situation.
yeah, you know, she's just being Carmela Lela Ding Dong. But yeah, they were
How
after
far away
what,
they said. Is that still a COVID bit?
I
Like,
don't know.
why
Yeah.
is it so far away?
She's on the other side of the room. But the question was about culture. That's what the lady asked her about. Like, oh, how do you define culture in today's world?
Mr. Gilmore, Mr. Madison, you have your team has a couple seconds. Remember that guy?
Yeah.
Mr. Gilmore.
Yeah.
All right, here we go. Let's see what she has to say.
Well, I think culture is it is a reflection of our moment and our time, right? And present culture is the way we express how we're feeling about the moment. And we should always find times to express how we feel about the moment that is a reflection of joy, because you know, it comes in the morning. we have
It comes in the morning.
That glitched up a little bit. You want it again, or I have a very similar one from, I don't know, was this a year ago or so? Even better. Same idea. Let's see if this one works a little better. All right.
Let's see it.
Carmela, a couple of years ago. We're gonna remove you. All right. See you on.
Yes, sir.
We were all doing a tour of the library here and talking about the significance of the passage of time, right? The significance of the passage of time. So when you think about it, there is great significance to the passage of time in terms of what we need to do to lay these wires, what we need to do to create these jobs. And there is such great significance to the passage of time when we think about a day in the life of our children.
She's incredible. And she's the greatest weapon in Joe Biden's arsenal right now. She's keeping him alive because nobody wants to face a world that's led by President Harris.
Yeah.
Passage
of time.
Dude, the funny thing is,
she said that 100 times, dude.
It's incredible. But the thing that I love with her is like, I've noticed it myself now that we're on video, and I'm like, oh man, how do I avoid doing it? But when she does the eyes up, like she's always like trying to, that's when she's stuck, like trying to think of like something. And then and she always uses
go back to the passage of time. That was good.
Exactly. And then she always uses the right. Like, again, it's something I try to be aware of for, people like us. We talk here trying to do this. But when you have to rely on the word right, like after a point you make that you are not even convinced with what you're saying yet, or it's just like a crutch that she's using where she's like trying to, so the thing with the culture is how you feel in the morning, right? Like she's not right about it. She doesn't know.
Yeah,
and then she just does, but the sun comes up.
Choking on remember she's like choking on the fuel of the bus.
Oh man, I was that little girl. So she's just the worst. What we got after Carmela?
You brought it up last week. I blanked on it. I immediately remembered it when I saw it.
Yes.
But what is it, Brother Franklin?
Yes.
Do you know any extra background?
No, I mean, Brother Franklin, this is basically just, I don't know what kind of denomination it is. I don't know where it came from, but Brother Franklin, just everybody was in the church making their way up to put their donation in the bucket. And Brother Franklin was touched by the Lord, I suppose. So he really put a little extra into his donation procession. It's awesome. I
I
know
mean,
we're both Catholic, but what if that was like, going on for us to do donations? The Catholic Church might be raising some more money if
I
they
do
had something
that
like that.
Eric Carlson thing since day one.
That's
But
incredible.
dude, like if they're going through the envelopes and stuff, and they're like, that better have been $1,000 donation. If they go, this Brother Franklin, 50 cents, and he almost took that lady's legs off, and he's doing
he had some
doing
moves. That was incredible.
He did the
But
thing
yeah.
where you like do this with your shirt.
But even the lady he almost took out, she wasn't even upset about it. She just kind of stepped back and go ahead, do your thing.
Yeah.
Oh, incredible. That I looked it up after the show last week, like immediately, because I was just cracking up that we brought it up. And oh man, I'm so glad we were able to share that with you guys. If that's the first time you've ever seen it, I'm jealous of anybody out there who's never seen that before.
Like imagine if at the end it wasn't even in a piece of a thing, but it was just like you sprinkle in like change in there.
Boom. Yeah, drop in like 75 cents.
In a $5 Foxwoods chip.
Brother Franklin. That's great. All right, what do we got next?
Next clip. Saving Private Ryan. You got something in mind with this?
Yeah. So I wanted to do this one because I was getting very patriotic there on the 4th, and there's something important in this clip that I think we'll let the clip play first, and then I kind of want to point it out to you guys afterwards, see if you pick up on it too. But it's something I think a lot of us in today's world could use to live better lives, maybe. But great movie, Saving Private Ryan. I love it.
I have this split up into 2 clips. Is that cool?
Okay. Yeah, perfect. Let's do it.
You want to just run through both, or you want to talk in between, or just let it roll? Go right to the next one, right?
I think we can let it roll because it's just cutting out a little bit of stuff that Spielberg, he drags out his scenes a little bit. So kind of get to the point a little bit quicker. But yeah, just run them back to back.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
We got a medic!
They're tank busters, sir. P-51s.
Angels on our shoulders.
What, sir?
James. Earn this. Earn it.
My family is with me today. They wanted to come with me. To be honest with you, I wasn't sure how I'd feel coming back here. Every day, I think about what you said to me that day on the bridge. I've tried to live my life the best I could. I hope that was enough. I hope that at least in your eyes, I've earned what all of you have done for me.
Whew. Try getting through that one with a dry eye, my man.
Yeah. Want me to ask you my question before or after?
Go ahead. Lay it on me.
Who is Ernest?
Come on, dude.
What? He's like, Ernest.
He says, earn this.
All right. Maybe that's the way you go.
That's the point of the whole clip. That's where I'm going with it. He says,
Ernest.
Pulls him in.
Ernest.
He says,
but then I'm like, why is it Ernest? And then he doesn't say anything.
No, he says James, because that's James Ryan, Private Ryan. And then he says, earn this. But he's dying. So, but
I
then
thought he died mid-advice.
No. So then,
Ernest,
but
go
Ernest,
and
You need to
earn this.
So the great thing is, and then at the end, that's him as an old man visiting, the Tom Hanks character's grave there with his whole family, and he's saying like, I hope I lived a good life. I tried to be a good man. I have my family here with me. I hope I earned your sacrifice. Like that's, the movie, obviously they all go to find the one guy and they argue about it throughout the movie. Like, why did 13 of us going risking our lives to save this one guy? And it feels unjust. And I'm sure it is, like, to those individuals. But, that's the thing he says to him as he's dying. His last wish is, man, I'm dying right here. I died. I'm giving up my life for you. You better go ahead and earn this then. And I think we could be a better country if more people at least felt that here in America a little bit. Like, we're pretty privileged to be raised and born here in America, in the greatest country in the world. And we should be earning what was sacrificed for us to get here. And I just think it's a great point. It works in that movie, but it could work for all of us too, because we're pretty lucky.
Ernest Goes to War. But isn't there an Ernest one where he's in like?
I'm sure there is. There's like 50 camp? Ernest movies.
I think that's
Ernest Goes to Jail. Ernest Celebrates Christmas. Ernest Celebrates Hanukkah. Ernest Celebrates Kwanzaa.
Mm-hmm. I have one that to break it up. This is just something I've been laughing about all week, and it will break up the sappiness.
Okay,
let's do it. No intro required. Just some people having a good time.
I think I could have used a little bit of setup. Took me a while to realize.
They have the chicken. They have those chickens on their feet, and so he has a blindfold. He has a blindfold. Yeah. There's 5 guys in that room, and he has a belt, and like he can only hit them based upon the sound of them.
Oh no! I mean, we watched it. Now we watched it. Now I'm saying it.
I mean, I feel like you get it pretty quickly, but the guy's going like,
I didn't know where that noise was coming from at first. I'm like, what's the noise? I thought they were like yelping as they were getting hit.
Oh yeah,
that is hilarious. Oh, that's good stuff. Now, were those the people that sued Harvard in North Carolina?
Same exact people.
I think
geniuses. That's genius. Yeah. Yeah. I don't know what those words meant. We might get censored for that. Those
Who knows? How about when he hit himself in the leg, though? That was great.
Yeah, because the guy put the shoe out. He did like a fake one. Yeah.
That'd be a fun one. I want to play that one with the group text. Let's see if we can get Bass, Onion, Joe Pa, me, you. We know Gorski won't show up, so he's out. But get us all in a room together playing that game.
Yeah, all right.
All right. What do you got? Anything else?
I'm done.
All right. What a great lightning round, everybody. Thank you for that. Now let's shift gears and bring things home with a Come On, Man segment of the day. All right, all right. So the Come On Man is sponsored by nobody yet. We would love to get a sponsor for this. So, reach out to us, right and wrong, 617@gmail.com. What is it?
All one word.
Thank you. If you guys are interested in sponsoring this segment, I don't expect to really hear from anybody just yet, but maybe one day, just one day we will. Maybe Miller Lite. It'd be great. Or the Haunted Mansion, if we can get Disney to unwokeify themselves.
Yeah.
But
Walt,
anyways,
maybe not the current.
Walt in the gray wool with a butt,
Mhm.
he'd be all for our program.
Yeah.
Now, you guys all know the Come On Man segment is usually finding a clip, somebody who said something, did something so ridiculous, so absurd that even though we're going to make fun of them for a couple minutes here, all we pretty much could say is, come on, man. So today, I teed it up a little bit when we opened the show that if you are a dog lover, you might be interested in this one right here. It's going to be Sports Center anchor Scott Van Pelt, and he, I think it's close to a year ago now, but he, has a segment on the show where he kind of gives like a message, monologue, inspirational kind of speech, and I guess that's setting it up enough. Juice, you want to bring in Scott Van Pelt and hear what he had to talk about?
One big thing.
I apologize in advance for however this goes. Le Batard asked if I cried when I wrote it, said I was doomed if I did, so I guess I'm doomed. It's all right. A few years ago, I wrote about my dad on the anniversary of his passing, which wasn't easy, but this is more difficult. Because anytime I wrote anything for this show, sitting behind me in my office in his spot on a leather chair was Otis the dog. And that thing is worn in like a catcher's mitt because of him. Ever since COVID, when we seem to do everything on Zoom, if you talk to me, well, you got him as well, right over my right shoulder, because he just wanted to be wherever I was. Now, sometimes he'd stand up and readjust. Sometimes he'd lick himself because, hey, what do you want from me? I'm a dog. I waited.
Yeah, I'm gonna hit the next one real quick to bring it on, but I cut out a little extra.
Okay.
We still need to hear this thing.
Hey, what do you?
Now, it bothers my mom when I say nothing has.
I said, hey, what do you want from me? I'm a dog.
Oh, yeah. Did hashtag dog mom. You seen these bumper stickers though?
Oh,
like I have a dog, love my dog, but like my kids have 4 legs.
No, they don't.
Oh,
I got a good one
you
about.
haven't seen that?
Dude, I got a good one I forgot to tell you about earlier. Remind me after these clips about the gas attendant around the corner from me and a dog.
Now, it bothers my mom when I say nothing has ever loved me the way Otis did because she's my mom, I understand. But I just ask her, I ever do anything that made you mad? Uh-huh. Exactly. Otis was never mad at me. Now, he wouldn't look at me when he saw a suitcase. He'd go on hunger strike anytime I was gone for too long, but that was as cross as he ever got with me. Nothing we do could earn what our dogs give away to us for free. That level of love and loyalty. And so many of you know what I am talking about. I've read countless.
Yeah, he doesn't have loves, hopes, or dreams because he's a dog. Like the same reason why he licks himself. He's a dog. You don't have to do anything to earn that affection, pal. That's my gripe with this whole segment is he's chatting this thing up like, and it's too many people in the world today are like this with their animals. And it says more about him, the human being, that he needs the comfort of this animal of his to validate himself, to love him.
Because I'm sure the dog's great, like great dog, but
I'm sure.
Weird.
But again, that's what a dog's there for, just to be a companion, right? But it's like, it's easy to get the affection of a dog. It's hard to get the affection of another human, another, living, breathing person who has their own thoughts and dreams and feelings, not a dog. Sorry, is there more?
I don't doubt that. Yeah, there's more, but I don't doubt that Otis would be sad if Scott Van Pelt died. But like at the end of the like eventually like who's filling up the bowl? Like he's gonna wag that tail again.
Yeah.
Like if
Yeah.
Scott Van Pelt's gone.
Yeah.
You know?
He'll move over to Stephanie Van Pelt.
Is that her name?
I don't know. I just thought it would work.
No, but he gets married. Like he talked about that.
No, I know he's married. He's got kids and stuff like that. But it's just it's the dog owner and the dog
Like
culture.
his mother, like, oh, you've ever get mad at me? Yeah, of course he got mad at me. You know, like you're never gonna have.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
You should be sad that you don't have a better relationship, like that you compare
Exactly.
your mother to the dog. And
Exactly.
my mother's out of control.
Most of ours are.
And I love my dog, but you know, another thing about this, I think you've said it to me before. Or we've thought about the hypothetical. Like, so Scott Van Pelt has like a 10-year-old. It seems this dog's 10 years old.
Yeah.
If they're both drowning in the ocean, he's taking Otis over just a stranger 10-year-old.
That's the hypothetical, because I would hope he would save his own son.
Oh yeah.
Otis.
No,
No,
his dog over
or a random
10-year-old stranger.
He's taking his dog.
Yeah.
That's sad. And that's the old what's his name? Dennis Prager threw that out there before, and
That
he
was
was
a
shocked.
Prager
Prager U thing. But yeah, about how many people would do that, save their own dog before just a stranger drowning in the ocean. And it's like, it's a no-brainer. You save the human being, but
probably the same people that would get mad at you for, you know, if there was a dog that bit a kid's face off and you euthanize it, but the same people are aborting children.
Yeah.
You know?
Exactly. It's crazy.
I think where are we at?
All right.
Clip number 3.
Sure.
The truth of the matter is that the only thing our dogs have to do to take up this much room in our hearts and in our souls is be ours. Otis gave way in the pecking order to a sister and then 2 brothers. So gentle, so patient, so protective. He would have taken off your arm if he thought you meant to do them harm. For real. But even as they pummeled him and climbed on him and pestered him, he never so much as showed his teeth even one time to any of them in protest. He'd raise his voice and do that dog talk thing. Ow! I'd laugh and I'd say, talk to him, Odie boy, let him know. But that was the extent of it. Simply by his presence, he has been a joyous and loving constant every single day of each of their lives.
Oh my goodness. Like how he throws in the things like, oh, he licks himself, or the because
talk to him, Odie boy.
Oh, I'm the witty funny anchor. Like, insert laugh track, like right there. Come on. I mean, again, that whole thing, the full clip of that is 5 minutes and 44 seconds.
Oh, I got some more though.
Oh, you do? Okay.
Yeah.
Let's keep going then.
Yeah, you ready for it?
Yes, sir.
Trying to explain his absence to my children was one of the most heartbreaking things I've ever had to do. How do you make it make sense to them? Hell, how do I make it make sense to me? And the simplest explanation, I suppose, for any of this is the truest. That the best part of this life is loving anything, and you do it even knowing the hardest part, which is that somewhere in the equation, inevitably, there will be loss. And the weight of this one is immense. Because he was the corner puzzle piece. So much of what mattered to our family, the big things and the little, connected to him.
This is like insane. Is there more, or was that the end of it?
There's a little bit more, but I have one last thing to
go ahead.
say about, all right, okay, fine. But I'm saying, same people like with Odie Boy, like there was a clip where, you know, he had cancer kind of, you know, and that's eventually what happened. But same people, I'm a dog guy. I'm like saying these same people, but they would, you know, like $20,000 in surgery for a dog with like cancer or something, and put their mother in a home.
Yes, thank you. No, I was talking about, like, I was talking with Ashley about it a little bit, and like she kind of was like, oh, you know, you could say that about so many things out there, and she's right. But like I focused on, like, think about the amount of money and time and effort that people, you know, the money that goes in from the family trying to save the dog, and then the skills that are required from the people working on the dog that they could be using on humans or on other things, as opposed to, you know, trying to remove the cancerous tumor from a dog's stomach. Like
we had an ear surgery on the dog recently, and I go into this pet hospital, and they're saying it to everybody, like, "Oh, what's your baby name? What's your baby's name?" Like, and I'm like, "They're talking about the dog, like the snake." You know, like,
yeah,
it's not just the dogs. Like,
oh my goodness,
that's terrible.
But that's like, and again, it's not even, I hate it because like I had a couple of dogs growing up. Like I don't have one now. I don't think I will get one as an adult ever, but I have nothing against dogs. Hey, your dog's the coolest. Love that dude. But it's the dog owner in the culture, the dog culture, that really frustrates me. The people that bring the dogs everywhere now. We were at the beach last week and there was a dog on the beach, like, and it had a vest on so that nobody could say anything, but there's no way that dog was actually needed. It's these stupid emotional support dog. It's just out of control. And we've gotten to this point that now we have Sports Center anchors giving like eulogies to their freaking dog for the whole country to hear. You got another one of him?
I'm not going to go to it. It's another minute, 30 seconds, but
doesn't he start crying?
5 minutes. Oh yeah. You want to see it?
Like he literally starts crying.
Like it's sad, but like, why are you doing this to yourself? 1, 2, the viewers. Yeah. There's most people, maybe 50-50 are dog people, but why are you like doing a 5-minute segment? And I think you said he did one for his father and one for, what's his name? That's right.
Stuart Scott.
Those both added together equal the dog one, right?
Yeah. He gave his dad 2 minutes and 40 seconds, and he gave Stuart Scott 3 minutes and 34 seconds. Otis the dog got 5:44.
Come on, Odie boy.
Otis the dog. And that's not the only time he's done one about this dog. He also did one after like one of his dog's surgeries a few years ago and thanking everybody for all the love they've given to Otis. He's recovering from the surgery now. Like, give me a break.
All right, are we gonna watch it crying? I mean, you want to just tie a bow on it, or do you want to see this part?
I don't know. I forget what he says at the end. Is there anything good other than him crying?
I mean, it's not good that he's crying. I feel bad that his dog died, but like, and I
just give it
dog. I'm pro Second Amendment and pro dog. Let that be known at the end.
Okay.
Okay, but I'll give you a crying Scott Van Pelt.
When I get home from the show late at night, I'd sit in a chair in a room off of our kitchen in the dark, and I'd wait to hear the click of his nails on the floor. And then he'd barrel down the stairs, tail going like a helicopter, and he'd headbutt my knee again and again like he was saying, "Give me some love, Papa, and some treats. All right, big fella, I got plenty of both." Just like sitting behind me in my office. It was the last part of our daily routine, to be wherever I was. And now he's not. After the show tonight, I'd rather drive all the way from D.C. to the Pacific Ocean instead of taking a short ride home where I'm going to sit in the dark, waiting for my Odie boy. But if this hurt is the cost of the transaction for being on the receiving end of a mighty love that I got to know in Otis the dog, then I pay it with enormous gratitude. Because even though I'm crying, I was just so happy he was ours. And I'm so happy that we were his. My friend Spencer Hall said simply, "Dogs are grace." And Chris Stapleton sings about a revelation that a dog has a soul. And they're both right. I stared into the eyes of Otis the dog and into his soul, and I promised him again and again, yours is going to forever live in mine.
Do not put dogs on the same level as human beings. Dogs have a soul like we do. No.
Dogs are grace, not like Lord or Jesus, like dogs are grace.
Oh, this guy. Like, that was absurd.
The cry seems super forced, if we're being honest.
Oh, my goodness.
Isn't it?
It was just
like, dude, why are we're hammering somebody who just like their dog died, but he's putting it out there. Same
Absolutely.
like what's her name? The lady who's like, "Oh, you're childless." Chelsea Handler.
Yes,
You do jokes about, I'm trying to
exactly. No,
get
you're
mad when
choosing to
people
put
talk
yourself
about
out there. No, but you know what? And again, I probably should have looked this up. Like I said, I feel like this was almost a year ago now. I guarantee you that this jackass and his family have replaced Otis the dog with a new dog to put into their life.
But
Guaranteed.
I think at the end he was saying, like, I would trade my mother and my father to have
Yeah.
one more year
For
with
one more year with you, Odie. Oh, whoa, whoa, whoa.
Odie boy.
Oh man. But
this
just
cat
ridiculous.
is not anti-dog.
This cast respects
We're
all dogs.
anti-Scott. Yeah, anti-Scott Van Pelt.
We are. And again, I feel like I have a hard time with that because people like label, like obviously I have a strong take on this thing, and this isn't the only time I've shared it. I've shared it off screen with people. But it doesn't mean I don't like dogs. That's what I can't help, that's what I want to make sure I hammer through is I do like dogs. And if Otis the dog was there at the party, I'm sure I would have been petting him and playing with him. But I hate the way that dogs get brought everywhere nowadays and people treat their dogs like human beings. And it's made us worse human to human because we replace any bit of like, somebody that's not just going to do everything you want when you want and agree with you all the time. We can't get that from another human. So we'll just, remove humans from our life and replace that with just an animal that's going to come when I say come, sit with me when I say sit, and play with me when I want to play with it. So I don't know.
This might be, I don't know, a hot take, a crazy take or whatever, but I think that instead of the Massachusetts HD 4420, register your magazines and barrels gun law, that they should do a law on, these people who drive with the animal in their lap with his head out the driver's window, and they're like going around the dog, and the dog's sitting on their lap. Like, I don't care if the dog has his mouth and his tongue waving out of the passenger side, but they're driving around with like 40-pound dogs on their lap.
Horrible. My man Ron from Florida made that something you could get a fine for, like pulled over illegal for the dog being hanging out the window at all.
Yeah.
Like, which I'm like, I can get on board with that. It's a distraction.
I feel like Trump's pro dog. Like, he'd just be like,
probably.
It's a beautiful dog, but just keep it in the passenger seat.
You know which ones I really like? Rottweilers. Like, they're just an aggressive dog. They stand up for what's right. Let's make Rottweilers great again. No, it's not even those. Which ones are the ones?
What, pit bulls?
Pit bulls. Yeah, that's what I meant. Not Rottweilers. Pit bulls that everybody's like afraid of. Trump's kind of a pit bull, so I feel like he'd be on board with an aggressive dog like that. All right.
Like a Shih Tzu.
Oh, come on, man. On that note, we're gonna say goodnight to the audience out there. Before we do that, though, we would like to offer up Scott Van Pelt and Otis the dog by association. One big fat classic. Come on, man. Like I said, that's our show. Thank you guys for tuning in so much. Juice, you got anything else to leave the audience with tonight?
No, but is this where I put the closing?
Yes, this would be a good
music?
spot to do that. Once we say thank you, good night, follow us on our social media, join the YouTube page, Rumble, share us around, and until next week.
Thanks for having
us.
The Right and Wrong Show is produced by Juice. Executive producer, Juice. Audio mixer is Juice. Hair by Skull Shavers. Wardrobe and makeup by Ashley Ruka. Right and Wrong song created by Juice. The Right and Wrong Show is copyright 2022 from Brian Ruka.